So I honor those of you who are decent beings left on the earth, in the earth, on the earth, in the simulation, whatever this is. Honorable, decent, sovereign, healthy, humanity still shut on, none Uncle Thomas, none prejudice, none, all that stuff. Okay. I honor you if you're watching this video. This is going to be a quickie. You all hear me talk a lot about the displaced population and the injustices that's happening with the displaced populations. So I do want to say, even though there's lots of good things that happens, at least on the surface, baggies with sunblock, aloe vera gel, and those are all honorable and noble things that if it's coming from the right place, if it's coming from sincerity and benevolence, it deserves that honor. Okay, that's honorable, because that's what this thing is about, truly helping populations that are displaced. Nobody knows the full dynamics of why any of us or anybody is displaced, and some people are one paycheck away, one catastrophe away, one divorce away, one missed day from work away, one failed drug test away, one wrong move away from being in that exact same situation. And that's real talk, with the exception of the super big wigs that have been privileged their whole lives. Their fall takes a little longer, and their fall is a whole lot harder when it ends up happening. Okay. But so I'm trying to be balanced here. I'm going to speak from as much neutral place as I can. For somebody who's in the trenches, I'm not just coming to you all from an experience I had maybe 20 years ago, back in whatever that year was, and when I was dealing with it, or because I knew somebody, or because I learned it in a program or school. You're listening to somebody in the trenches, the real trenches. Okay. Now, depending on your locale, so I can only speak, just to be fair, I can only speak from my experience, from where, you see where I'm going? So in Las Vegas, Nevada, they profile the displaced, okay? No matter what kind of communication, the displaced could be given communication by a manager, a worker, because there are some displaced people, they're not gonna just do something, because they know that they're already being looked at, and people are looking for reasons and excuses to, escort the vermin out of the building. Okay, that is their attitude. Because remember, I'm sure many of you all have heard this, people show you what they think about you based on how they treat you, not on their pretty fancy words and speeches and their 501c programs and their awards and ceremonies and degrees and plaques. People show you what they think and what they feel about you based on their mannerisms, their communication, all of those things. Okay. So let me explain. Because there's a fine line, and I get that. I get it, and I have respect for fine lines that, it's like, okay, there's, conducting a business, and, when it's coming from a good place, when it's not like double-minded stuff, say one thing, when it's coming from a healthy space, it's like, okay, respect, because there has to be a fine line. It has to be, or it'd be a circus shit show. Okay. So I do have respect for that. But what I want to say is this: the displaced people that are displaced have a right to walk around, shop, especially if they're in a tourist town. Let me make this 100% plain. If they are in a tourist town, which Las Vegas, Nevada is essentially that. This is a tourist town. This is a city that never sleeps. This is the place people go. And so I'm simply saying that within measure and balance, because, okay, if, you know, all things being equal, trying to be grounded and practical, there's always an exception to the rule. But they have the right, just because they're displaced, there are people out here that are being creative about their displacement. Okay? Since a city never sleeps, what can I do that never sleep? See, that's one of the advantages of it. Okay? Because some people, there are people out there that they're not considered profile enough for the programs. Okay? They don't fit the bill. Okay? Or there's, my good old favorite, funding is out and everything is booked. Okay? So what are these people supposed to do? Are they being punished and penalized? A very sickening thought. That's why I said some people may unfortunately find out late in the game that they was just one disaster away when they were feeling real comfortable and secure. One, are the displaced being criminalized because of their displacement? Are there assumptions being attached to them? There are people that are making it do what it do. We have a whole lot of people that love talking like that. You do what you got to do. They love talking like that. Give each other high fives and yeps, my niggas, and all of that. Okay? You got to do what you got to do. Until you're in that situation, then you don't know what, you don't know. You're just sitting up on your fat ass, talking out the side of your neck. But because you really don't. And I'm talking kind of ebonics. I'm going back and forth because, first and foremost, I'm from Compton. Okay? I just look like this. I've been exposed to diversity of culture, diversity of social and economical statuses and classes. I will say that, and I'm honored that I've had the chance in my life experience to be exposed to diversity. Okay. There are some that are displaced that are simply trying to hold on to whatever amount of dignity that they can, because they're still a human being. They're trying to, like I said, as some people say, utilize the services, utilize what's at their disposal, not in a bad, negative way. And I'm trying to It's, well, this is my plight. This is where I'm at in the plight. This is one of the benefits of this plight. How can I make, until things work out for me, whether it is I find me a place, I get into a program, until something like that happens, what can I do within legal means? What can I do? Okay, what, bitch and moan and cry? And ain't nothing wrong with crying, ain't nothing wrong with feeling, because we do need to feel, but I'm saying, because I honor that. But at the end of the day, when you're in it, you're in it. It's not a classroom lecture or a Zoom meeting. When you're in it, you're in it. And there are some, and I know you can't put all displaced people under the same class, under the same classification. I get that. Okay? That's why, I'm trying to be cautious with what I'm saying, because I've seen, since I'm in the trenches, I've seen some stuff. Okay? And it's like, okay, like, what are you supposed to do with that? I know, I'm coming here. So check. That's how the program, these various businesses, especially in the security arena, they love using that. Okay? to escort the vermin from their classy establishments. And like I said, the profiling. Displaced people have the right to roam the fuck around any city just like a tourist do. Rolling they fancy Gucci luggages, and all of those things. I bet you if my name was Susie Snow Bunny, I'm willing to put money that I don't have, but if I had it, I would actually bet it. I would put that shit down on the table.
I can't hold it that long.
Oh, okay, I forgot. Anyway, because I was supposed to be short. I bet you if my name was Susie Snow Bunny, bet if my name was Susie Snow Bunny and I was a size 0 with huge knockers and huge Botox lips. Come on, let's go, Doodoo. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Come on, I'm ready. Bet you. And my son, you know what I'm saying? If we was something that folks, liked, I'm almost willing to bet people will kind of turn a blind eye, won't think nothing of it, or even have some empathy. Oh my God. I ain't never seen more of my own kind have more empathy for motherfuckers. Woo! Child. I ain't never seen. It's like, yeah, that's telling the story. It's telling the wounds of my culture. That's what it's doing. The brainwashing, the wounds, the conditioning, the colonization, the glorification of other cultures over our own. That's something that's been happening. And I know why. It's a spell, but I'm not going to even get into that. That's just lifetime after lifetime of programming conditioned by the big leagues. Okay. And so we'll be the first ones to be an Uncle Tom or an Uncle Thomasina or Auntie Thomasina. Okay, well, it's not open yet, so let me see what we can do here, son, because I was trying to get into the Starbucks. But anywho, I got to go. So like I said, they'll escort people out of for no reason and will not even allow them to use the restroom. Why am I sharing this? I know how to take it with dignity. It's like, okay, very well. But why am I saying it? Because you all need to know that is what they do here. That is how they treat the displaced. Okay? They, whether they did anything wrong or not, the displaced could have had permission. They could have been to themselves. And, and that's how, you escort. Normally, you're going to escort somebody out because they, they did something wrong. They stole something. They were loud. They violated other people. You really don't escort if you could have went to them and just asked them and that person would have willingly and politely left. But anyway, let me go. I got to help my son. And displaced population, they treat them like vermin while pretending to care. Think about it.